Welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, excuse the tired face. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm leaving for Houston in probably like an hour and a half, but I saw a setup on the charts that I absolutely just could not refuse. I had to tell you guys what I'm seeing because I think this could have a huge effect before I even get home tomorrow. And so I do want to let you guys know what this is. So I just kind of rushed out of bed and I just immediately jumped on here. So I didn't drink the coffee. I didn't do any of that yet, but bear with me. Okay, so what we're seeing on the charts right now, looking at Bitcoin, does seem as if it has the potential, if held, to be extremely bullish. Okay. Now, you guys know that as we were seeing this run to the top side about 3 days ago, I posted a video on the channel basically just saying, is Bitcoin about to see a pullback, right? And the reason in which I said that was because on multiple time frames, we were starting to see that this move in which we were seeing was getting overextended. If we look at the Bollinger Bands, we were extended into our Bollinger Bands to the top side. If we look at the hourly charts, for example, you can see we were extremely extended into the top side. If we turn those off and just simply look at where we were on the RSI, we had already seen a little bit of extreme growth before realistically capturing any good levels or extremely bullish levels on the charts. And so considering that fact, I said we either need to see this thing pull back a pretty substantial amount back towards, this 35,000 area, or it needs to consolidate and find a range. And what we can see is that it is now ranging for the last about, realistically 4 or 5 days, but it's an absolutely amazing thing because it has now allowed our indicators to reset. And not only are they resetting, we are seeing bullish divergences in an extremely bullish pattern forming. So going out to the 4-hour charts, one thing that I am paying very close attention to is, of course, this beautiful, beautiful cup and handle pattern. It's clear. Let's go to the 4 hours. Let's just stay here. So on the 4-hour charts again, we can see this very beautiful cup and handle pattern playing out, in which we did put in our rejective high number 1, 2, and 3, right? So we have our cup, we have our handle. Okay. And now at this point, as long as we are putting in highs above our most previous high back here, we can go ahead and call this a cup and handle pattern with a validation level sitting right around $39,000. So what does that tell us? Well, what that tells us is that as long as we are able to work our way back up and break $39,000, we now have a breakout target that sits from the depth of the average bottom of the cup. That's something people need to understand, is that it's a lot more common that the breakout targets of these things are the average bottom, not just because it wicked down here for a couple hours, the average bottom. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take it just from about, say, right here, work our way back up to the top of the cup line, and then apply that to our breakout target. And now what that has is that if we are able to break this cup line right here, this red line, that gives us a breakout target sitting back up towards $44,000 to $45,000, which actually does give us a perfect retest of some of our rejective highs from back earlier in the month. And so if we are able to complete the break of $39,000, that adds extra bullish incentive for the price to see mass continuation and that larger bounce on a macro scale that we have been looking for. And now, in the event in which we do see this fail, what does it take for us to invalidate this and for us to start to understand that realistically this bullishness in which we're seeing forming right now has probably started to fail? Well, that's going to look like the loss of our 618 to 786 on the macro scale. So what you're going to do is take your Fibonacci's and go from your low on January 27th up until this high in which we put in right here on January 29th. And now what we know is that if we were to lose the 786 level to the bottom side, it becomes extremely likely that we retest this previous low. And now generally speaking, if we retest the previous low after losing the Fibonacci's, we do have the ability to see a W bottom, but it has more of a tendency to see the lower low get set. And the setting of a lower low at this point does start to look like it invalidates this cup and handle pattern for us, as it does start to expand out past the typical time frame of a cup and handle. And so overall, what we can expect is that if we are capable of getting a bounce off of this zone between 36,700 and 36,200 and a push back up towards, this $39,000 level, that we may see a pretty dramatic bounce back to the upside based off of our pattern technical analysis, okay? But if we are going to invalidate this, be looking for the loss of $36,200, especially the loss of $35,500. Personally speaking, if I was to see 35.5 get lost on a 4-hour close, I would be looking to maybe even possibly short the market, because I would be under the expectancy that we are likely to come back to retest some of these previous range lows. But in that event, of course, it all just depends, and there's so much else that goes into that I wouldn't necessarily say that that's 100% my game plan right now. now. And so overall, we do have kind of a range right now. We have a bit of a 50-50 and something to just be specifically watching out for that definitely makes our lives easy in order to make our next play, to make our next gains. Be on the lookout for $39,000 to get cleared. In the event in which we are capable of doing so, that does and also trigger and validate this hourly bullish, this bullish divergence in which we see low. If we can set the higher low, of course, we need to set the higher low above this previous level, of course, on the 786. Boom, if we can set that higher low, continue back up, we will also go ahead and set a low, lower low, bit of a more macro bullish divergence there on the hourly charts, which definitely could provide us with some of the bullish momentum in the supply for us to see that larger correction move to the upside. So overall, things definitely do have the potential to be extremely bullish, especially on these 4 hourly time frames, and it is extremely important to monitor how this does play out. But don't forget, things are not always bullish and things will not always go how we want them to, and that's why you always have to pay attention to your invalidation levels, in this instance being $36,200. The loss of that starts to invalidate this move in which we're looking for, and likelihood is it won't play out as we hope it will. So overall, that is realistically about it for today's video. This one was really short and really fast because I'm leaving in like 45 minutes, and I just wanted to get it out there for you all to be able to see that we have the potential to see something great, right? And what's beautiful about it is that even if it does take a few more days, that may also be the retest of our daily 20 simple moving average, to where if we break this cup line and we break that 20 simple, I didn't mean to do that. If we break this cup line and we break this 20 simple moving average, guys, I mean, we have huge potential back to the upside, because don't forget our return, our rebound, where the breakout target of this cup and handle pattern was right back up to where the top of this Bollinger Band envelope was. So that definitely can be a fantastic gain in trade of, up to 10 to 15% on Bitcoin, which could look like 20-30% on many of our altcoins. Okay, so overall, be paying very, very close attention to that over the next 24 to 48 hours as it does play out. Just keep an eye on each one of those levels again, and if anything important does happen, hopefully I am back home from a little day trip. Okay, so if there's something big does happen, of course, and you want to stay up to date, I will be posting about it on the community tab, so just subscribe so you do get that notification. And I also will be texting about it over in my Discord group, which is connected to the Patreon, in which you can find down below. But with that being said, that is going to realistically be about it for today's video. Of course, if you guys did enjoy, you can always let me know simply by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new, and I will see you all next time. Peace.